Hello everyone and welcome to a new lesson with Miss Rafa. Today we're going to answer progress test 1. So open your activity book on page 37 and let's get started. Let's start with some speaking. Look at the pictures. Choose a partner and discuss. What are the people in each photo doing? What equipment or tools do you need to help you practice each sport? Talk about other strange sports you know. Now let's start with the text. Read the following text, then do the tasks below. Trekking. Let's start with some vocabulary. Exhausted, exhausted, exhausted. Bleeding, bleeding, bleeding. Adapt, adapt, adapt. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. Trek, trek, trek. Gradually, gradually, gradually. Currently, currently, currently. Foreign, foreign, foreign. Nepal, Nepal, Nepal. Nepali, Nepali, Nepali. In, in, in. Now let's read the lesson. Today is the second day of my trek around Mount Annapurna. I'm exhausted and my legs are shaking. I just hope I'm able to complete the trek. My feet are really killing me and my toes are bleeding, but I still want to continue. Nepal is a fascinating country, but I have a great deal to learn. Everything is so different, and I'm trying to adapt to the new way of life here. I've learned a little bit of the language to make communication easier. Unfortunately, I don't learn foreign languages quickly. Although I have not understood much yet, I believe that I'll improve gradually. I am currently traveling with Liam, a student from Leeds University in England. He's a nice guy, but impatient. He always walks ahead of me and complains that I'm too slow. I'm doing my best to keep up with him, but he's younger and stronger than I am. Maybe I'm just feeling sorry for myself because I'm getting old. Right now, Liam is sitting with the owner of the inn. They are discussing the differences between life in England and life in Nepal. I don't know the real name of the owner, but everybody just calls him Tam. Tam speaks English very well, and he's trying to teach Liam some words in Nepali. Every time Tam says a new word, Liam tries to repeat it. Unfortunately, Liam also seems to have a difficulty learning foreign languages. I just hope we don't get lost and have to ask for directions. Now let's answer some questions. Answer the following questions. How does the writer feel? He feels exhausted and his legs are shaking. He just hopes he is able to complete the trek. Why did he learn Nepalese language? He learned Nepalese language to make communication easier. Who's Liam? Liam is a student from Leeds University in England. Why can't the writer keep up with Liam? Because Liam is younger and stronger than the writer, he's also impatient and always walks ahead of the writer. What are the owner of the inn and Liam talking about? They are discussing the differences between life in England and life in Nepal. Now B. Match words in column A with their meanings in B. Bleeding. The process of losing blood from the body. Inn. An old-fashioned hotel, usually in the country where people can stay the night. Adapt. To change your behavior in order to deal more successfully with a new situation. Impatient, restless, or intolerant. Exhausted, very tired. Ahead, further forward in space or time. Trek, a long hard walk lasting several days, especially in the mountains. Fascinating, extremely interesting and attractive. Now let's move on to vocabulary. Complete the sentences with words from the list. Beneficial, choice, gathered, implemented, permanent, fine, discover. The accident has not caused any permanent damage. All the information that we gathered has been kept in a file. The police are working hard to discover the cause of the fire. A good diet is beneficial for your health. A new work program for young people will be implemented soon. We have no choice but to study hard. She has to pay a fine for speeding. B. Unscramble the words. Predict, plumber, beneficial, revive, multiply, struggle. Available, financial, enroll, caught. Now see, solve the puzzle. تمارين الفوكابيولري كلهم بيعتمدوا على الكلمات الجديدة الأساسية اللي لازم تكونوا حافظينها. Revive, announce, fleet, sustainability, initiative, bulk, praise, degradation, visually, impaired, prophet, futurologist, ascertain. Now let's move on to grammar. Select the correct verb from between brackets. We are building a garage next to our house. We need somewhere to put the car. Mrs. James leaves early every day. They haven't visited the museum recently. Sarah hurt her ankle while she was running. Layla was having lunch when her friends came. As soon as I graduate, I will look for a job. This time last year, she was studying at university. I missed your call because I was working. When we saw the accident, we called the police. Watch out! You're driving very fast. Question B. Complete the paragraph with the missing words. Two men wanted to go swimming. They drove down to a lake. On a little rock, they saw a boy. He had a fishing rod in his hands. Are those fish biting? One of the men asked. No, they aren't, the boy answered. But the worms are. The two men went on and laughed about the boy's answer. When they came back, they saw that something was wrong with the boy. They looked at him and saw lots of little red bites on his hands and arms. So they looked in the can with the worms in it. They found out that it was full of baby rattlesnakes. C. Complete the dialogue with questions and answers. Tell me something about your family. Sure, what do you want to know? Well, how many brothers and sisters have you got? I have one older sister and a younger brother. Do they look like you? Yes, they do. Or we can say, no, they don't. So, what does your sister do? Or we can say, where does your sister work? She's a graphic designer. She works at Panorama Designs. That's great. How long has she been working there? لما بدنا نسأل حدا قديش صار له عم يشتغل بهذا المكان نستخدم هاي الصياغة. She has been working there for 3 years. What about your brother? What does your brother do? He doesn't have a job right now. He's a student. Now let's move on to listening. Listen to a group of friends discussing their new project, then do the tasks below. Mary, thanks for coming, everyone. So we're here today to decide together about the timeline for our new project and make sure it works for all departments. Let's first think about the scheduling of each project phase. What do you think, Jack? I think we should begin phase 1 as soon as possible. We can work out the rest as we go along. I'm sorry, I don't think so. We might make a wrong decision and waste time if we're not fully clear on where the rest of the project will take us. Mary, I agree with you on that point, Danny. However, we'll waste too much time if we wait until everything is planned. I think we should start quickly and then adapt as we go along. Carol, do you agree we should get the plan right first and then start with phase 1? Carol, I don't agree with you, Danny. It's important to have a good plan, but even good plans can change. We need to be flexible and we also need to move quickly. Mary, so should we try to reach an agreement? Jack, well, you're the project leader. Let's go with your decision. Carol, yes, I'll follow your lead, Mary. Danny, I still don't think this is the right decision, but I'm happy to go with the majority. We should add some space into the schedule later for additional work that flexibility will need. Mary, don't worry, Danny, we will. So it's decided then. We'll start phase 1 and in the background we'll continue planning the later phase and adapt them as we go along. A. Decide if the following statements are true or false. The group are deciding on the money needed for their new project. False. Jack thinks they should finish the plan as soon as possible. False. Danny and Jack need to move slowly. False. Danny refused to go with the majority. False. B. Choose the correct answer A, B, or C. They should make sure the project works for all departments. They can't start phase 1 if they are not fully clear about the rest of the project. They'll waste too much time if they wait until everything is planned. It's important to have a good plan, but plans can change. In the background, they'll continue planning. Now, at last, we have the writing. Write a paragraph about a pleasant experience you've been through. Keep in mind, after writing a paragraph, read it again. Check spelling, grammar, vocabulary, punctuation, and capitalization. Correct the mistakes if there are any. That's everything for today. Thank you very much. See you next lesson.